Peace, peace. What's going on, everybody? Cam. How y'all living out here, man? Give y'all a chance to scroll on in before I dive into the topic for the day. Want to have a little dialogue with my people today, man. I got some questions. Probably even got a few answers for you all, man. But I'm going to give y'all a chance to slide on in here, man. Once again, unprecedented, unexpected. Stream, I felt as if I should knock it out earlier, opposed to later. Because again, man, my schedule been kind of crazy, so I got to get it in whenever I have the chance. So hopefully you all enjoying this Saturday, man. Y'all get up early with your boy one time. Just chop it up with me. So hopefully y'all feeling good, man, maintaining. Elevating, focused on their health, man, making sure y'all doing everything right and exact, taking care of your health, and that's mentally and physically. So I'll give y'all a chance to scroll on in, man, before I start building on today's topic, man. Again, this was unexpected, but I just felt like I had some downtime in between sessions, so I might as well just go ahead and give me a stream, man, get the building with my people, man. It's always a pleasure building with you all, man, and interacting with you all. So here we are, man. So I'm gonna give y'all a chance to scroll on in, man, and dialogue and interact with your boy. Got an important conversation that must be had this morning. Gotta have this conversation today. It's on my mind. It's something that's on my mind in regards to the beef between the black man and the black woman, man. Is this something that has been overly exaggerated, or is this something that's real? So I want y'all to chime in, man. I got my own perspective on this particular subject, this particular conversation, but I want to hear what you all have to say in regards to this beef, supposed beef between the black man and the black woman. Is this something that's real? Is it a real issue, a real problem within the community? Or is it something that has been fabricated, overly exaggerated by the media? Is this something that really exists? Do we really have a beef? And when I say, do we really have a beef? Peace, sweet tea, what's going on? Lachelle, peace, happy born day. Happy born day. Your born day close to mine. Son, kids, peace, what's going on? And that's pretty much where I'm at with it. That's pretty much where I'm at with it in regards to how I see it. That's definitely where I'm at with it. I don't think the beef between the black man and the black woman is as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. But we already know why they make the beef out to be that bad. So we already know why that's the case. But I don't feel like the supposed beef is that bad. Dizzy, man, peace. What's going on with you, my brother? Like, of course, we have our conflicts and things of that nature, but that's any other group of people. So I don't feel like our beef is any worse than any other group of people, man. Again, everything that we do, they just highlighted a lot more. They just highlighted a lot more, especially when it comes to conflict within the black community. They highlighted a lot more, so we see a lot more of it. It's just like crime and things of that nature. It's a lot of crime that goes on in these other communities, but they're gonna show you the black crime. D, peace, what's going on? Donna C, what's going on? Okay, D, so you said it's real, and you talking more so about the younger generation. Tavis, what's going on? Montel, peace, what's going on? How y'all living? Dizzy, you already know it, man. You already know it. I ain't even diving in yet, but you already know it. So my man D said that the beef is out there, but he more so he's had bad experiences with the younger generation. TZ Frank, peace, what's going on with you? All right, Montel, there you go. Keep it up. Keep it up. Okay, so the younger generation, which I can see that. Especially the ones that are easily influenced by the media and things of that nature. So when you walk into a black woman that is easily influenced by the media and things of that nature, even when you walk into a black man that's easily influenced. Jay Peace, what's going on? Dynasty, I'm kind of in that same boat. But even when you walk into a black man that's easily influenced by the media, you have a problem. You have a legit problem. So in regards to the beef, for those of you that's saying the beef is real out here, what is the actual beef? Like, what's the problem? Like, if you are a male that's saying that there's a beef, what's the issue that you are having or that you are experiencing with the black woman that indicates that there is indeed a beef between a black man and a black woman? Like, what experiences are you having for you to come to that conclusion that there is definitely a large beef out here? Yeah, I had to buffer. Yeah, somebody called my phone. That's why I was buffering. All right, so let me check out some of these comments here. All right, we got you. All right, so you believe it's definitely a beef. As a single black man, it seems that a lot of our women have adopted a mentality that they are entitled to quality without being quality, and we not doing that. Okay, that's a comment. Let me see here. Our black men have endured great trauma, as our black women, and we don't know how to heal or reconcile our issues to start with. Okay, I'm liking that. Then TZ Frank, where you at? To me, it seems like women aren't genuine. They only like you based on what you can do for them. Okay. D, the beef to me is that they're saying we aren't of any value, but for the most part, they seek out a particular type of guy from our environment and then want to label all of us. Okay, that's some of the comments that we dealing with here. And Dizzy, all right, my man's Dizzy done chimed in. I wouldn't say there is a beef, but I feel like black men are underappreciated as in society. On top of that, we get crazy flack from our own. Okay, I'm digging some of these. I can feel some of these comments. I'm digging some of these comments. Definitely digging some of these comments. I can feel it, and that's just based off of y'all experiences, of course. And Dizzy was crazy. You know, sometimes we feel underappreciated, but I run into a lot of black women that they feel the exact same way. And my man's Montel chiming in. No, there's no beef because we've been going through an environment we don't have or give opportunity to teach ourselves how to value each other. Now, there's one comment that I kind of want to focus on here. We gonna go to my man Sick the Y here, Sick Day, DSA. When he said it seems that a lot of our women have adopted a mentality that they are entitled to quality without being quality, and we not doing that. That's an interesting perspective. So that's an interesting perspective because basically you saying you have had experiences with women who obviously don't value themselves and don't respect themselves, but then they want a high quality guy. That sounds like the type of black women that you have been coming across. Stephen, whatever your name is, you talking about Black Lives Matter? We not talking about Black Lives Matter. I don't really care about that movement myself. Oh, Tavis, most definitely. Most definitely. All right, so DSA, my thing about that is that really, does that really, people love to hit my phone up when I'm trying to go live, but does that really equate to more so a beef though? Because we running into the women who obviously don't respect themselves. When you don't respect yourself, you don't know yourself. So my thing is, you dealing with lost women at that particular point. So is that a beef, or are you just dealing with lost women who need to find themselves, who need to find out who they truly are so that they can respect themselves? Now, when you walk into the woman that knows herself and respects herself, do you still walk into a problem? As a black man that knows himself and respects himself. And that's just a question. Like, I'm not, debating what you said. Steve, yeah, you could definitely donate. You should be able to. I know I got the super chat option, so you could donate if you want to. So I just think, man, when it comes, like, beef is a strong word. Beef is a strong word. That's why we focusing on that. I think beef is a strong word. And D, now, this is the thing about that. I like to deal with the understanding. Donna C, yep. I was all right. So Donna C I was about to go in real quick. All right, so I'm all about understanding. So at the end of the day, it's cool. It sounds cool. It sounds cool for us to jump right on the women, right? And say exactly what some of us have said about the women. But here's why I'm always about understanding. It's like, why are the women feeling that type of way? Yeah, Sunkiss, exactly. So we got to get to the root of why the women are feeling the way that they feel. And I guarantee you, when you get down to the roots, for one, it's going to have little to do with like us actually. When you break it down historically, you're going to see why the woman had to develop. It was almost by force. The woman had to develop the type of mentality that she has. This was systematic. It was systemic. And we got to come from that place of understanding. And then for the most part, now I can even just speak on myself. Like some of us, as far as the men that do the criticizing in regards to the women, like we don't have it all together mentally and physically. We don't necessarily be having it all together as well. And we tend to like overly criticize the women. Whereas like the balance, to the point where we consider it a beef. I don't necessarily consider it a beef. Like I said, if you're dealing with and Dizzy, that's what it is. That's exactly why they took the black man out of the family, man. That's exactly why they kind of tried to force him out of the home. So that the black woman can view us the way that she views us. That's exactly why they did that. So that was systematic. So we gotta look at it like that. That's what happened. The white man basically embarrassed us in front of black woman, black child. Like that's essentially what happened. That's essentially what happens, and when that happens, you gotta understand, because like my brother said, we are the strength. We are the strength. So when you take that black man and you pretty much embarrass him in front of black woman, black child, you kill him, you murder him, you just make him look weak. When you make him look weak in front of black woman and black child, like that black woman, that does something to them psychologically. And then they pass down that trauma psychologically, generation to generation. To the point where it's like we cannot be dependent upon this man, because look what the system would do to this man. So if we depend upon this man, King Luke, what's going on? If we depend upon this man, then the system just gonna take him away from us. So that kind of created that independent mentality. It was like, man, we can't really depend upon this black man, because look at what the system will do to this black man. Then we gotta raise our black sons in fear of this system. So that's what tends to happen a lot. And a lot of this was systematic. A lot of this was systematic. So again, it was almost like some of the gang beef that's out here. It was almost like when the Crips started, and then the blood, like that was all government orchestrated, and they tried to make it look like it was black on black type deal. When y'all all know the science behind how the Crips organized and formed. Most of the gangs organized and formed to protect themselves from white folks, and they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. Oh yeah, most definitely. You always got to be careful where you place that kindness. Got to do that, man. Got to be careful. Shakira, peace. What's going on? Sean, man, you can chime in. You can chime in. Cause it ain't about having love for all black people. That's just unrealistic. I don't have love for like when people say they love humanity and things like that. Nah, I don't have love for humanity. I don't have love for everyone. I know I don't. But my thing of it is preference. I'm gonna deal with my people on every level first before I deal with other people. That's all that means. It ain't necessarily saying that we have love for all black people, that black people can do no wrong, this, that, and the third. Nah, it's simply that I have a preference for my people before I deal with any other people. So if I can get a service or a product for my people first, I'm gonna strive to do that. She loves, and I agree with that. So I don't necessarily believe it's a beef, more so than we just got a lot of broken individuals in the community. We got a lot of people within the community that don't know who they are. And when you don't know who you are, you don't respect yourself. And when you don't respect yourself, you do not have respect for people that look like you. And that's what creates the hostile environment. Devin Ramsey, most definitely. Yeah, Dizzy. That's important, man. It's a lot of pressure on us. It's a lot of pressure on us. It's a lot of pressure on us. Yeah, you done brought up the feminist views, which we was talking about in a previous video. She loves, I definitely agree with that. And Donna C, all right, yeah, Donna C, with that, I definitely agree about taking care of the kids. But here's the flip side of that. If you a grown man, if you're a black man, and you're not doing what you need to do in regards to taking care of your kid, like I don't hang around dudes that intentionally don't take care of their kids. Now, them dudes do not exist within my cipher. I can't fool with that. If you're not going hard to take care of your kids, now you do have some bitter women out here that's going extra hard to try to keep the child away from the brother or away from the father. Because I personally have a friend where it's crazy. It's a crazy situation that he's going through right now. But on his end, the chick is not black. So that's kind of his fault. That's kind of his fault. And that's another thing too. A lot of brothers think they gonna run and jump to other races and whatnot, and they gonna get treated better or fairly. Now I got a brother right now that's dealing with a white chick, and this white chick putting that dude through hell. So forget all that. And I told dude, I said, man, that's what you get for playing on that side, bro. Oh, Dizzy, most definitely. Oh no, she love. We both got pressure. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like we both got pressure. And then that's another thing too. On that end, like if we don't even have to compete on that. Like we both have pressure. We both have pressure. It ain't even about who has more pressure, who has less pressure. Now, we both got, in my opinion, when it comes to the pressure on a black man and a black woman, we both got the same amount of pressure. Both got the same amount of pressure. I don't need to compete with your pressure. I don't need to compete with her pressure. But I definitely think, like, if you a brother, and even if you are, because I know some women out here that don't take care of their kids. I know some, it's just crazy, man. I just be experiencing a lot of things. I know some deadbeat mothers out here. Oh, OG Low, yeah, they most definitely ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna do that. But you can't put it past them because they'll try. When it comes to black men that are armed and dangerous, they go about that another way. They gonna do them like they did the Black Panthers. They gonna infiltrate that movement a whole different way. They gonna infiltrate that movement a whole different way, an entirely different way. They gonna infiltrate that movement in an entirely different way. So when it comes to the brothers that's out here armed and dangerous, then that's when they gonna pay a brother off. They gonna pay a brother off. She loves, and I'm gonna go into another one on top of what you just said. She loves, I'm gonna go into something that's a great point. Another thing that tends to happen. Another thing that tends to happen in that aspect too, a lot of these women, it's like they penalize the child for their bad decision. So let's just say they pick a trash dude to lay down with because you chose to lay down with this guy. That's accountability. So you chose to lay down with this guy and you chose to have this intercourse that led to this child. You chose to do this. You chose it. Your decision. What tends to happen is, let's say this child comes out and looks like the father. I've seen mothers basically penalize that child, whether they did this consciously or subconsciously. They penalize that child for reminding them of their bad decision, reminding them of that father, reminding them of that trash guy that they chose, that they pretty much knew was trash. Because you got all the signs that you needed, you just ignored them. Because again, one thing that tends to happen, we tend to, and this is not necessarily women, men do this too, we tend to fall in love with like the potential of a person. And when we do that, we tend to overlook who this person actually is based off of what they are actually showing us. And we gotta stop doing that. That's something that we really have to stop doing. When people showing you who they truly are, you gotta accept that. You gotta accept that. You gotta look at things for what they really are, not what you want them to be. So when you with this dude, stop trying to create this image in your head that's not necessarily a reality. If this dude is showing you his true colors, if he's showing you that he's not about that life, then you need to take heed to that sign. Don't be looking at it like, oh, I'm gonna get him to change. That's not your job. You can't force change on somebody else. You can't do that. You can't force a guy to be something that he's not willing to be himself. Like you can't do it. And the same with the men. Like you can't force that black woman to be something that she's clearly showing you that she's not willing to be right now. Can't force that. So when she's showing you that, then you got to take heed to that. You got to take heed to that. You got to take heed to that, man. And a lot of times, man, a lot of these people, they end up in these situations and they swear up and down that they didn't know that such and such was trash, or they didn't know such and such had all these bad characteristics and tendencies. Man, yes, you did. You just ignored the signs. You ignored them. You ignored them. Shakir, most definitely. Lindell, I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. She loves is definitely sad. Stanley, and that's what I always go back to self. I always go back to self. Yeah, OG Loke, man, we need to gear up, man. We need to definitely gear up. I said, man, I rapped that in a song back in the day, man. I said something about books and bullets. Like that's what we need to gear up on the books and bullets, the books and the guns, cause they plan to intrude us. Like that was the lyric that I spit, man. Books and bullets, cause you know the plan to intrude us. So we definitely need that. We definitely need that. But again, that ain't gonna necessarily stop them from infiltrating and striving to wipe us out. Cause they like bloodshed. They like that. That's right up their alley. So that's not necessarily gonna instill fear in them like that. They just gonna go about it a different way. Cause you talking about the people that's wicked by nature. Like this is their nature. When you pulling out the guns, when you talking about violence and being a savage with it, like that's their nature. So they thrive off of that. They love that. They love the bloodshed. They love that. They love that. So they ain't got no problem with sending out their own people to die. They ain't got no problem with that. Dizzy, I think I've seen some recommendations in regards to that channel. Yeah, definitely understanding is the key, and I feel like that's what we need to focus on. Solo T40, definitely agree. OG Loke, I definitely check that out. Montel, man, tell the Mons peace. I appreciate it. Yeah, down to see, and I'm gonna keep it funky because I'm gonna keep it real, man. I'm gonna keep it 100% real because of the culture that I come from, man. I was told and this is just something that I witnessed, and this is one of the reasons why it's good to have that father figure in your life. Like I witnessed my father, my pops hold it down, and the culture that I comes from lets me know that the man is the foundation. The man is the foundation, man. Everything revolves around that man. Like that man is supposed to provide, protect, take care of that household. That's what my pops did. My pops took care of the household to the point where he didn't even told me out of his mouth. He don't know how much my mom's make. My mom didn't have to work if she didn't want to. He said he was gonna take care of everything, and that's what he did. So he said he don't really like my mom. Obviously, she's working and she's worked ever since I was born. But he was just like, man, he never knew how much my mom's make in regards to like what she would make on the job, and he said he didn't care. Like he said he didn't care what my mom's make. He said he still doesn't care. He said he don't know how much she makes and he doesn't care. She can do whatever she want to do with his money. He said he gonna take care of what needs to be taken care of plus some. And that's what I grew up around. That's what I grew up around. So that's what I witnessed as a man, and then the culture that I came into letting me know that I'm the foundation. They following my lead. They looking for a leader. They looking for somebody to lead. A lot of dudes I heard, and a lot of men out here, a lot of black men think that it's the opposite. Y'all think for some reason that y'all focus on the word submission. I'm not gonna use that word, but y'all think that these black women, they are not striving to be led. They don't want to be led. That's incorrect. That's incorrect. What they don't want to be led by a guy that's weak. They don't want to be led by a guy that has the same tendencies that she may have. They don't want to be led by that person. They're a little bit more selective in regards to who they choose to follow in regards to a man. So that's what's happening. Some of them, I'm not gonna say all of the black women are like that, but when you come across, because one of the Man, DT, what are you talking about? Got a little cough going, but yeah, DT, I don't know what you talking about, man. Hotep sipping, I'm like far from that, but whatever. Yeah, Shakir, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. And that's what I would say, man. Some of these women, like, because some of the criticism that because I've talked to a lot of brothers that try to jump to like other races and things of that nature. Say they only like to deal with white women. They only like to deal with Asian women and things of that nature. And the reason why, according to what they have told me, is because of the attitude of the black woman. The attitude of the black woman. And to me, I get it. I get it. Some of y'all can't handle the attitude of a black woman. Y'all can't deal with it. But to me, that's a pretty lame excuse in regards to not dealing with black women as a whole. To me, that's a very lame excuse. That's a pretty lame excuse considering what I just said. One of the main reasons why they had an attitude, and we gotta go, and just like some of you all, some of my black men that came over here and y'all done gave y'all experiences. Well, some of these black women have had terrible experiences with black men, and that has led to the attitude. So the same way that you form your opinion based off of your experiences, some black women are doing the same thing. They have had bad experiences in the past with black men, to the point where it's like now they got to be real selective in regards to who they let in their life, who they choose to have a relationship with, whatever the case may be. That's one of the reasons why the attitude is formed in the first place. And then I didn't even tap into let's get really deep into it. I didn't really tap into the fact that when you go into the household, how some of these male family members are touching some of our young queens. We're not even gonna tap into that. And the vice versa is also happening. You do have female family members that are touching some of our young kings as well. So we're not even gonna go into that, which that can lead into some things psychologically. So that's definitely happening out here. So it's a lot of trauma, man, that has been. Oh, son, man, I take that attitude with the quickness, man. I'm not, listen, when brothers out here talk about they don't deal with black women because of their attitudes, again, that's why I say that's why I look at it the way that I look at it, man. Like that, to me, that's not a good perspective to have, man. That's not a good perspective to have in regards to why you jumping ship. That's just like you being in business and you want a yes man around you. They tell you in business, man, to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. That's the rule of business, to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna apply that to relationships. Why would I want to be with a yes person? I don't want somebody that's just gonna agree with everything that I'm saying and do everything that I'm saying do. No, keep me on my toes. So sometimes that attitude, when you look at it correctly, and then even when you analyze your ways and actions at times, you contributed to that attitude at certain points. So don't just act like the black woman just got an attitude for no reason with you. Don't do that, man. Don't be that guy. Sometimes you are responsible partially for that attitude. So we got to hold ourselves accountable for everything that goes on within our communities, man. And we got to just stop blaming everybody else. Derek Jones, peace, what's going on? Kev, what's going on? And again, man, that's just something that we gotta do, man. I'm not about to keep bashing my sisters, and I'm not about to keep bashing my brothers. Eli Smooth, I can tell you for an actual fact, nobody, like, they don't have an attitude for no reason. It may not be because of something you did, but they ain't having that attitude for no reason. I can guarantee you that it's a reason why they have the attitude. It's a reason why they have an attitude. It may not be a reason that involves you. It may not even be a reason that you like, but it's a reason why they got that attitude. It's a reason why they got it. And I don't know what type of white women dudes be dealing with, man, but a lot of these white women, for one, I mean, it's so many different reasons why I don't even entertain other ethnic groups, other races of people. Nah, I don't even want to get into that, because I'll probably get banned from YouTube if I start talking about these white folks, man. Because again, I went to the college I went to was just filled with these white folks, and for the life of me, I'm not understanding why a black brother would want to play on that side, based off of what I witnessed and experienced. There is no reason why I would ever want to fool with any other group of people other than black women. I just can't see it. I can't see it just based off of what I witnessed by going to school with them. Montel, you was told what, man? I done said so much, I don't even know what you're talking about, because I done said so much. So what did another older brother tell you? She loves, like the culture I come from. They say that's your reflection. So my woman is a reflection of me. So she gonna shine based off of my light because she's my reflection. So a lot of dudes don't want to have that responsibility. A lot of dudes don't want to have that responsibility. Yeah, a lot of dudes don't want to have that responsibility, man. But you that light, you the sun. Everything is revolving around you. So she's reflecting your light. So if your light trash and she's following you, then she might mess around and become trash. So that's crucial. That's crucial. Oh, Dizzy, most definitely. That's not fair at all. That's not fair at all. And for the black women that do that, I don't necessarily fool with that at all. Definitely don't group us all in one box. And I done been there, done that, and I done seen that. I done seen that a lot. Terenzo, peace, what's going on? Oh, so yeah, they already restricted it. Then that's cool. I mean, it probably is inappropriate. Who cares? YouTube be getting soft on us. Eli, man, at least you just sat there and reflected, man. That's growth. That's maturity right there, Eli. That's growth, man. Cause I'll be sitting there, I'll be a fool. I'll be a fool if I acted like, if I'm in a relationship and a woman just has an attitude and I have nothing to do with it. I'll be a fool because I know my flaws in life. So sometimes I contribute to that because I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. So I know I can be frustrating to deal with. So that's just me reflecting internally. Sean Steve, you do not want to know. But one thing I will say, man, some of the white women, man, that I was in school with, man, gross, yo. Like when we go back historically speaking, and when we let you know that we showed them civilization, like I seen the uncivilized white folks, like I seen how they were living. I seen how they were living, and it was gross. Like it was gross, man. It was gross. It's a reason why I went to a white college and you don't see me with too many white friends. Man, I couldn't fool with them, man. I could not, the way that they was living, man, I couldn't fool with it, man. I couldn't fool with it. It was like I was back in like the 1300s, yo. Some white people can be sick, man. Man, that's just a fact, yo. Yeah, she loves approaches everything. Thunder Scorpion, what's going on with you, my brother? But yeah, approach is everything, man. Approach is everything. And a lot of us don't understand that. Oh, Shakira, most definitely. Most definitely. You most definitely know that. Oh man, I ain't even know YouTube was on this video like that. I guess I can't see nothing. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. I listen, when I go into my bag with the content like I really want to go, when I go into that bag like I really want to go, man, they probably wouldn't accept none of those videos. Kev, like I said, man, they was gross. Listen, like I said, they was gross, and even they attitudes. I don't know what white chicks y'all be dealing with, man, but when I went to school with them, man, they attitudes just as bad, or if not worse, sometimes. And then just the lack of, like, listen, I'm not compatible. Nah, man, I can't see eye to eye with a lot of white people in general. So let alone with a white chick, man. They were so disconnected from like what actually be going on. I can't fool with it. And happy born day, Thunder Scorpion. Like my knowledge of self is too deep for me to be interacting with a white woman, to be in a relationship with a white woman. Like that wasn't happening. That wasn't happening. That wasn't happening. I don't trust them, man. I don't trust them like that. I don't trust them like that. But they just had some gross ways and actions back at the college that I was in. Some gross ways and actions. That's all I'm gonna say, man. I ain't gonna get too deep into it, but man, it was gross. Like I said, it was like we was back in the primitive time when the Moors had to clean them up and show them how to be civilized. I felt like we was living back in those days. Oh, D, if you one of the good ones that genuinely come with that good approach and you still get shot down, understand what you're dealing with. You dealing with a traumatized black woman, and maybe it was not meant to be. So keep moving, keep it moving. That don't mean give up on the whole. That don't mean give up on all the black women. So you gonna come across those types of women, man. You gonna have a genuinely good approach, and you still may get shot down. You still may get shot down. But that means that person is not for you. So you don't need to deal with that black woman. She just showing you her true colors right there, and you need to take heed to that sign. But it's going to be a black woman that's going to be respectable, and they're going to respect your approach, and that's going to be the one that's going to be for you. So if you come with that genuinely good approach and you still get shot down, keep it moving. You don't need that energy in your life. You don't need that energy in your life. But that's not all the sisters out here. They not all going to treat you like that. The one that you need is going to be the one that receives it, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. You're going to always have situations where you may get, you know what I'm saying, where you may get rejected and things of that nature. Down to see, just for me working in like banking, I have seen some terrible approaches. I have seen some, like, it's some creepy. Sometimes I be feeling bad for my sisters, man. This is another reason why I have the perspective that I have, man, because I work in banking, and I usually be like the only dude. Well, I worked in banking, and I usually would be the only dude in the branch. And man, I just see the way that some of these old dudes used to try to get on the younger like tellers and whatnot, man. And some of the stuff that they would be doing and saying, man, was trash and gross. Was trash and gross. D-Money Magic, what's going on? You know what, King Luke? When it comes to nice guys and good guys, I almost don't really fool with those labels like that, because everybody likes to consider themselves good, nice, and all that. Nobody really gonna walk up and say that I'm a bad dude or I'm a bad person. Even the ones that's out here obviously doing stuff that's destructive. But not too many people gonna come out and admit that they are not necessarily a good individual. So pretty much every dude that you're gonna come across, if I ask them, or if I ask you, do you consider yourself a good guy? For the most part, 9 out of 10 of them gonna say yes. Everybody really likes to consider themselves good and nice. Like literally everybody. Like who on this thread gonna admit that they like trash or like bad or negative or toxic? It's rare. That's rare for somebody to admit that. Yeah, that coded language. That's why we need to speak in code. She loves, that could definitely be a fact. Just not the person's type or whatever the case may be. And sometimes that's what it is. And sometimes that's what it is. Brothers, I know y'all have had women approach you that you weren't necessarily interested in. And you may have curved them and it may not have been in a pleasant manner. We didn't all did that now. Don't act like we ain't all guilty of that. We didn't all done that. We didn't all have somebody that came to us and they may have came to us respectably. They may have came to us respectably, man, but they just wasn't our type, and we probably dissed them terribly. Listen, I've done that back in the day, way back in the day, man. I know my brothers got some got some examples of stuff like that, man, where a sister that came to you and that wasn't a sister that you was like interested in, and she came to you respectfully, man, and you had to shoot it down. We didn't all did that. Yeah, Dizzy, yeah, man, I could, listen, I went to this white college, man, and I was like, if y'all have seen the movie Higher Learning, I was like Ice Cube in the movie Higher Learning at that white school. That's how I was at that white college. I was like Ice Cube in Higher Learning. If y'all have seen that movie, that is exactly how I was at that college that I was at. I was Ice Cube in Higher Learning. I was the black dude up there with knowledge of self, with all the books. I even had white dudes making rap songs dissing me at that particular college. I'm surprised I made it out that joint alive, honestly. Because y'all think the stuff that I'm talking about now is crazy. When I was in college, when I was like Illuminati Bell on Facebook, I used to go in on white folks. And I used to walk around that campus. Nothing but white folks. With a Malcolm X hoodie on and everything, man. I was in Iowa, Malcolm X hoodie on, walking to classes. Nothing but white folks in the classes. White folks ain't want to put me in their groups and things of that nature, and I got better grades than them. So I'm surprised I made it out. I'm surprised I made it out that joint. Oh, D, most definitely, man. Listen, D. All you got to do is keep focusing on yourself. At the end of the day, when you focus on yourself, exactly what you need is going to come to you. If you didn't went up and you didn't approach people and they didn't rejected you, then that's not somebody that you want. That's not somebody that you need. The person that you going to need, they going to come to you. That's what's going to happen to you. That's what's going to happen when the black man focuses on himself. When you focus on yourself, when you focus on being that black man, being that powerful, strong black man, trust me, what you need is going to come to you. Oh, Lindell, most definitely. Yeah, Dizzy, I don't even, like I said, I don't consider myself, I'm not going to label myself good nor bad. I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to place myself in the good category or the bad category. Like I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Like I'm not going to label myself good or bad. I'm not going to label myself positive or negative, because at the end of the day, you're going to get some of all of that dealing with me. Period. However you choose to label it, though, it's all on your perception at the end of the day. Because something that I can do, something that I do that could be perceived as bad may actually be something that's beneficial to you. So it's all about perception at the end of the day. But I'm not going to label myself nice, good, bad, mean, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to label myself any of that. At the end of the day, I'm just a black man, that's striving to be the best version of myself that I can be. And within that, Within that, I'm gonna have up days, I'm gonna have up moments, I'm gonna have down days, I'm gonna have down moments. That's part of life. That's the equality. That's the balance. You're gonna get some of all of that dealing with me. So at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm a great guy, I'm a good guy. I'm not gonna act like I'm a bad guy or evil guy. Nah. I don't need to place that label on myself. I don't need to place that label on myself. I'm a black man, man. I'm a black man with a vision, and I'm manifesting that vision. King Luke, when you say they try to step on guys that try to do everything right, I may have two questions for you, or I may have two things to say. What do you mean by doing everything right? And then what type of woman are we dealing with here? Dynasty, Dynasty just pretty much hit on what I'm alluding to here. Because if you getting stepped on when you trying to do everything right, then again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. We try to force people to be what they are not. So if you take a black woman who is not of the best quality and you trying to change her, that's not necessarily a good thing. That may not necessarily work out in your favor. If she letting you know exactly who you are, like if you doing things that could benefit her, can benefit the whole, and she stepping up, she walking over, she disrespecting you, then nah, that's just somebody you need not deal with. You need not deal with that, because from my experiences, a respectable woman is going to respect that. And that's a black woman, a white woman, it don't matter. A woman is like a woman, a respectable woman is going to respect that. When a man is out here doing what a man is supposed to do, a respectable woman is going to respect that. A disrespectful woman, no matter if she's black, white, whatever it is, she's not going to respect that. She's not going to respond to that in a positive manner. But you don't want to deal with that disrespectful woman. You want to deal with the respectable woman. A respectable woman, from my experiences, when you do what you need to do, when you do what's necessary, they respect it. They don't give you no pushback. They don't give you no pushback. So it's all about the quality of the individual. Yeah, she nice, and that's another reason why I just don't like to overly label myself good, bad, nice, mean, all that type of nonsense. Like that's why, because at some points it may actually appear as if I'm mean, but I call it being a realist. I call it being a realist, man. It's being realistic, dealing with reality. But a lot of people think, like, when you deal with reality and being logical and things like that, a lot of people label you mean or whatever the case may be. But to me, that's not necessarily mean. It's logical. It's being a realist. And some people even call it being a pessimist, man. But sometimes I look at all aspects of life. And a lot of people label that in a negative manner, but I don't see anything negative about it. So with that being said, in somebody's eyes, I can be a bad person. I can be a bad dude just because of the way I see the world. But to the next person, I could be the greatest brother alive. So that stuff is all subjective. So that's why you're not about to hear me act like I'm a nice guy or I'm a good guy. Because that's all subjective, man. I could be nice to you and I could be the meanest person to this next person. I'm acting the same exact way. She loves, I'm glad somebody else can relate to that. Because I was in that white, man. I felt so, that junk was awkward, man. That junk was awkward in regards to how they was living. D Monty Magic is crazy because I got accepted to all the HBCUs, man. I was on my way. I was gonna go to a HBCU. Oh, Ken, we know why the white women want the black man. Like, historically speaking, we already know why they want us. We already know why they want us, because for one, look at the picture that they painted of the black man, like physically and sexually. See, when you dealing with these white folks, you're not dealing with civilized folks. You dealing with savages, man. You're dealing with savages. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with. So they women are no different. So they painted us in a savage light in regards to sexual energy and things like that, labeling us beast and all that type of stuff, man. And the way that they painted us historically in regards to like our sexual energy, that created suspicion in the white woman. That created curiosity in the white woman. When they painted us that way, sexually as black men, that created that curiosity. And plus, along with that, the white woman, they know who we are. They know who we are, man. Like subconsciously, white folks know who we are by nature. So that creates that curiosity. That white woman, they know exactly who we are. They know how dominant we are. They want to experience that. They want to bear witness to that. They want to bear witness to that energy. That is one of the reasons why they will seek that black man out. That's one of the reasons why they're going to seek that black man out. We already know that. I mean, just and not even to brag or boast, man, but just look at us like physically. Just look at us physically, man. Like like that's one of the main reasons. Montel, you in the same boat? Montel, if I ain't mistaken, I think what school you at again, man? I think you told me one time. Dizzy, energy is most definitely the key. Like I said, man, I could be nice, I could be mean, I could be good or bad depending on how you pretty much interact with me. So if I get a bad vibe from you, then I may be bad to you. I may be mean to you because I don't really like the vibe that I'm getting from you. So in your mind, I might be this mean person. I might be stuck up. I might be whatever it is that you want to call me. I might be all of those things because I ain't like the vibe that I got from you. And I'm suspicious in regards to dealing with you. She loves, and I'm glad you touched on that. I'm glad you touched on that because again, we talking about the so-called good guys, but nobody talks about what happens to the so-called good girls. Hypothetically speaking, brothers, if we being real, if we gonna be real, if we gonna keep it 100, and if we hypothetically gonna roll with the good guy label, then let's talk about how we have treated the good girls. You know, the girls that was in school, that handled their business, that got straight A's, that was involved with their work. Let's be honest with how we dealt with some of them. How we curved a lot of them because they really wasn't out here. Now come on, I can't be the only one that witnessed that reality. So we got to deal with equality. We got to deal with balance, fellas, man. We got to deal with that. That's why I don't like playing the blame game because at the end of the day, we can always say the opposite as well. So if we about to say black women this, that, and the third, we can all black men this, that, and the third. So it really makes no sense to be constantly pointing fingers at one another because we can do that with everything. And Donna C, and like I said, from my experience, what you said is an actual fact. Based off of my experience. Like I said, everybody has different experiences, but based off of my experience, what you said is an actual fact. And again, man, and even if they have an attitude, again, just focusing on the black men that say the black women have an attitude. So what? Even if they have an attitude, that's a flaw. You're not gonna run into a perfect woman at all. That shouldn't even be expected. So they're going to have a flaw. You're going to have some black women that may have an attitude issue. You're going to have some black women that don't have an attitude issue. You're going to run into some white women that have attitude issues. You're going to run into some white women that don't have attitude issues. Everybody has flaws. Everybody has negative character traits. We all have that. So if you walk into a black woman with an attitude problem, what are you doing to try to help her with that problem? Are you just criticizing the attitude? If you really want to be with that person, man, if you really feel like this is the person for you, then if they got a little attitude problem, then you're gonna strive to do everything in your power to help them. If you really down for that person, if you really want to be with that person. But if you don't too much care for that person, then you just really gonna criticize the attitude. And half the time, that's what the case is. We don't really want to be with some of these women that we with, and then when things go awry, we like to say, oh, they had an attitude problem. Well, you didn't really have the best intentions in dealing with the black woman or that female in general. So you didn't have the best intentions anyway. So why do you care? And vice versa. Yeah, that's what I thought, Montel, man. You out there in Cape. I was working with somebody, man, a white chick, and she came from Cape. So I can already know. Eli, Ohio, what's going on? I already know what's going on over there. Son, man, exactly. That's what I focus on. Moving righteously, being righteous by nature. And again, that's not necessarily something that's good or bad. Again, we deal with like justice and things like that, penalties and rewards based off of your ways and actions and things of that nature. Like, that's how I move. D Monty Magic is crazy because I've heard that as well. And that's a crazy perspective. That's a nice little perspective, man. We're gonna have to build on that. D, yeah, they definitely treat us like we a fetish, most definitely. Dizzy, damn, exactly. When you original, when you authentic, nobody can take that away from you. Yeah, she loves. That's the reason why I went to the white college. I got all the scholarships and things of that nature. They did want to, because the crazy thing is, when I went to the white school that I was at, they started recruiting more people from my area. So I'm in Davenport, Iowa. They started recruiting more St. Louis people once I got there. So they was trying hard to make it look like, hey, we got diversity here. DSA, most definitely. And that's another thing that people don't understand. Like white men, for the black women that think they finna run the white men treat women like trash. White men, they don't even care for their women for real, man. This is historically speaking. You can study history and you can see that white men never really care for their women at all. At all, boy. At all. But these white dudes, they some savages as well. So for all my sisters thinking that they finna just go play on the white side and think that white man gonna treat them better, okay. Okay. Try that if you want to. Yeah, Young Vicious, most definitely. Y'all know I'm down to protect the black women at all costs. So we gotta do what's necessary to protect. Listen, this the thing. We gotta do what's necessary to protect the black woman, the black child, and then brothers, we gotta have each other's back. Listen, I got my brother's back just as much as I got anybody else's back. Every black man that's on this thread, listen, if I was in your part of town, bro, if you needed something, I'm there. I'm jetting, I'm there. Anybody that's on this thread, like Dizzy Damn, if I was where you at, and you had a, let's just say you needed to get from point A to point B and you ain't have a ride and you hit me up, I'm there. Like I look out for my brothers 100% of the time. And that's another beef that we need to touch on, man, because a lot of people think they bring up this garbage black on black crime concept and act like brothers just out here killing one another. Man, that ain't necessarily the case 100% of the time. I got a lot of brothers right now that I got they back if all break down, and I know they got my back too. So we got to be warriors not only for the black woman and the black child, but we got to be warriors for each other as well, my brothers. D, I definitely agree. And Devin, great analogy with the 80-20% rule. Great analogy. You done took it back to business school. The 80-20 law. King Luke, I'm all about accountability. She loves, I can tell that grass is not always greener. And for the most part, some of these white dudes, because again, I was in that circle by force. I ain't really want to fool with a lot of them white dudes, man. But if I went, as soon as I step outside of my dorm room, it's white dudes. So a lot of these white dudes was out here. It was like a prize, man, to be able to say that they did something with that black woman. That's what a lot of them was after. So I ain't like that, man. I did not like that. I did not like that. So a lot of these white dudes is out here pursuing these black women just to say that I was able to have sex with this black woman and this, that, and the third. Nah, man, I ain't got time for that. I was disgusted. I'm gonna tell you, man, at the black college that I was at, man, I was disgusted when them black chicks was out here dealing with them white dudes. Man, I was disgusted. I couldn't even fool with the chicks when they was like, man, I don't want to be cool with you when you think that this is cool. Like at that point, man, when it comes to protecting black women, it's hard for me. It was hard for me. I don't know how it would be now, but it was hard for me to really look out for the black woman when she went to the white man, because it's almost like I wanted to prove a point. It's like, all right, you feel unprotected now? You feel unprotected now? Watch how you about to feel dealing with these white folks. Because I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. When I was going to the college that I was at, man, I was trying to, me and a bunch of other brothers and whatnot, man, we was trying to keep that cipher close, man. We was trying to keep all the black women, black men connected. At least that's what I was striving to do, man. But a lot of the black women at that college, they didn't fool with black dudes. And it wasn't necessarily the reason why they didn't fool with black dudes. It wasn't necessarily anything along the lines of them just having bad experiences. It was pretty much where they was raised. You know how you raised in the suburbs around all the white folks. That's one of the reasons why they gravitated towards white men, because that's what they were around growing up. Which that part I semi got it, but it was just like, man, I can't deal with it. I couldn't deal with that. I'm like, if you feel like you unprotected here, you finna see what unprotected means when you dealing with this white man. D, I can agree to that. Listen, man, when it comes to protecting some of the women that belittle us, like I said, where I tend to cut it off is like, if you gonna choose, when you jump to the other side, you pretty much relinquishing That power. So you saying now I'm a black woman, I'm going to the white man, so now you under their protection at that particular point. At that particular point. But when it comes to being belittled and things of that nature, man, I feel like for the most part, man, depending on what has been said to you and what has been done to you by that black woman and vice versa, like I feel like we got to come from that place of understanding. We got to come from that place of understanding. And we got to look at the bigger picture. Again, like they say, it take a village to raise a child. So we got to focus on we got to have that village mentality. So some things, it's just like even the powers that be. They don't necessarily agree on everything, but they know how to put their differences to the side, man. They know how to put their differences aside when it comes to making important decisions. We got to be able to do that. We got to be able to put our emotions and our feelings to the side when it comes to raising a nation, when it comes to creating that village mentality, when it comes to creating a better atmosphere and environment. We got to learn how to put those emotions to the side for a moment. And we got to come together. We got to realize that these babies are watching. So it's like, all right, man, she had this attitude with me. But listen, I can put that to the side because, man, we got to focus on raising this baby. We got to focus on being better role models. We got to focus on being better men, better women, things of that nature. So we got to come from that place. We got to come from that place because we got important things. We got important things that need to be done as a people, man, in order for us to reclaim our power and our glory. Because I don't know if y'all really witnessing what's going on out here, man, but it's getting real. So we gonna really need each other. So at the end of the day, some of this little petty stuff that we going back and forth over, like we just gonna have to put that to the side, man. We gonna have to put those differences to the side. Because when things break down and when things get real, all we gonna have is each other. These white folks ain't gonna protect you. These white folks ain't gonna look out for you when everything break down. They screaming this Black Lives Matter stuff now, but when things get real and they got to choose a side, they not choosing your side, and that's just a fact. That's just a fact. They not gonna march with you when it's time to die, when it's time to die for the cause. That's not happening. That's not happening. Them Asians ain't finna ride for you when it's time to die for the cause. That's not finna happen. It may be a select few, but I mean a select few. You can count them on one hand. It's going to be a small percentage of them that's going to be willing to die when it's time to ride for that cause. So at the end of the day, all we got are one another. And that's it, period. And that's what we really need to start to understand. And y'all got to understand as we get older, as we age, as that number increases, we got younger people that's watching us. We got to be examples for these younger people that are watching us. So at some point, we got to grow. We got to grow in wisdom. So we got to stop arguing over the petty stuff. And we got to realize that babies are watching. We tend to not realize babies are watching, and we wonder why the cycle continues. Because we're not able to put our differences to the side for the sake of raising a stronger generation. So then that generation, like, they are punished because of like our petty differences and things of that nature. So that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. We got to come from that place. At the end of the day, like I said, whether you believe black women got attitudes or not, whether you believe black men are this, that, and the third, man, some of this stuff, some of these issues can be easily solved. Some of these issues can be easily solved by just us uniting, coming together, dealing with that understanding, dealing with that knowledge of ourselves. Some of this stuff can be easily solved. Some of this stuff can be easily solved. All we got to do is come from that place of understanding. But at the end of the day, what tends to happen is, and I get it, because we have been traumatized. So I get it. A lot of the times, we not coming from that place of understanding. We just coming from that traumatized place. So we just dishing out our pain. We just causing other people to suffer because of our trauma. And we not striving to understand anybody else's situation, anybody else's trauma. We feel like our trauma is on a higher level than the next person's trauma. So we're not striving to understand that person. You don't understand what I've been through type stuff. We in competition in regards to trauma. And that's trash and that's petty. Why are we competing in regards to trauma? I don't want to sit here and be like, you don't understand what I've been through. Woo, wop, wham. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Come on, I can't understand what you've been through because you went through it. We could have went through the same exact type of trauma, but our experiences will be different because we are different individuals. So we could have literally went through the same exact thing as children, but the way we perceive it is different. Just like if they tell you if 100 people see the same accident, you're going to get 100 different descriptions in regards to what actually happened. That's life. So we don't need to be in competition in regards to our trauma, saying you don't understand what I've been through. Strive to give me that understanding. Stop telling me that I don't understand and break it down to me so that I can understand. That's what we got to do. I don't need to be in competition. I don't need to compete with you in regards to what I went through as a child. We here today, we have survived it. So now, instead of us competing in regards to the trauma, we got to strive to understand each other's trauma. That's it. I went through this. You went through that. We survived. We here now. Now what's the plan? What's the plan? Once we have broken down our traumas, once we have gotten all of that out, now what's the plan that we have? A lot of us don't have plans, man. A lot of us don't have plans for self, and we don't have plans for like relationships. We don't have plans, man. What is your plan? Are you just gonna sit and you gonna dwell in that trauma? You gonna dwell in that past? Or do you have a plan to improve and elevate beyond that trauma? What is your plan for yourself? You gotta be intentional in regards to your improvement, to your self-improvement. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people just want to soak in that misery. Listen, I understand that what happened to you was trash and bad, man, but again, you survived. Now what's your plan? What's your plan to prevent the future, the next generation from going through exactly what you went through as a child? What is your plan to prevent that from happening? That is what's important. But if we're going to continue to sit and soak in that misery and go back and forth with one another, we setting the next generation up for the same cycle. And we end up putting through the same things that we went through that we was trying to avoid putting them through. Young Vicious, I'm the same way, man. I don't roll with too many people. But again, like I said, most of my brothers, something break down, it's a lot of brothers that know they can depend on me. Rat Dusty, dude, what are you talking about? You can feel all the sorrow in the world that you want. I don't care. I only deal with black women. So if you feel sorrow for me for that perspective, then that is just fine. Rat Dusty, what are you talking? Okay. Yeah, D Monty Magic, most definitely though. Most definitely. That's the thing that we got to realize. At the end of the day, when you start to have children and you start to bring children into the equation, then now that stuff is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. And that's what we got to realize. Once you start talking about babies, children, and all of that, now it is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. So at that point, you can no longer be selfish because you have a young life that is depending on you. So at that point, it's bigger than you. Rat Dusty, I have a beautiful black woman. I don't need to, what are you talking about? See, this is the only time where I entertain nonsense like that because again, y'all know how I get down with this type of stuff, man. Don't say that. I'm always go to bat for black women. So when you talk in a negative light about black women, I'm gonna respond. So some trolls I don't entertain, but this I don't allow that. Look, Rat Dusty, you're not about to be coming on here disrespecting black women at all. Because again, I got a beautiful black woman and I wouldn't have it no other way at the end of the day. So you can have all the sorrow in the world that you want. You can live how you want to live. But we don't need that negative energy on this particular stream. No, like we honor, we respect the black woman over here, and that's what we deal with over here. Yeah, y'all know. Yeah, some things y'all gotta check me on, man. Cause when it's certain topics it's certain things that's just off limits. It's certain things that's off limits. And when you talk about black women, that's off limits. I'm gonna probably respond to that every time. When you talk about anything black in a negative light, then I'm probably gonna respond. But definitely black women. Like when you start talking crazy like that, I'm gonna have to respond. I'm gonna have to let you know about yourself real quick. D Monty Magic, man, I'm editing my website. I got so many things. I got like 3 or 4 websites. Some of them are under different names that don't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But the website that I'm gonna have all my products and whatnot on, I'm gonna probably have that back up and running like Monday or so. I just gotta do some editing to it. But I got a website most definitely. But I gotta get it back up and running though, and then I'll post the link. Because I just made my first batch of my powder, my immune boosting, energy boosting powder. I just made my first batch of that, so I got to put that on the website. But like I said, man, at the end of the day, when it comes to the black man, the black woman, a lot of things, I'm not saying that we got to totally neglect our feelings, but a lot of these things can be sorted out, man. A lot of these things can easily be resolved. A lot of these things can easily be resolved. It's how bad do you want it? If you don't want it bad enough, then that means that person is not for you. Like if you're not willing, if something like an attitude is gonna put you off, then that person you just don't want to be with that person. That person wasn't meant for you. Y'all not compatible. That's another thing you gotta stop doing. Trying to force relationships, man. If it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. Don't try to force it. That's gonna be met with resistance, man. Don't try to force it. If y'all not compatible, bro, y'all just not compatible. If that's just not your type, that's just not your type. Don't try to change that person, because you don't want to deal with an artificial. You want to deal with the original. So if the original personality of that individual is letting you know that this is a person that's not open to evolving as a person, then y'all not compatible, man. Don't try to force it. Don't try to be like, maybe in 5 to 10 years, this person may change, they may become this, that, and the third. Man, you don't control that. But if you dealing with that person and they showing you that they open to evolving, that they value growth, they value that personal growth, then you can work with that. But if you're dealing with somebody that's closed off to the idea of personal growth, man, don't deal with that, man. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. Don't waste your energy. All D Monty Magic, man, most definitely. Man, the grind is just beginning, man. My book about to be finished. I'm going to have that up for my born day, November 13th. So the book, finishing touches on that. Inner Mass, letting you know how to survive a pandemic. Then the next book that I'm gonna work on is probably gonna be something that's uplifting black people, man. Because again, that's my main focus, man. The upliftment of my people. That's my main focus. And I gotta do that physically and I gotta do that mentally. But that's why I'm always talking that black talk for the most part. Like that's where I thrive, man, because my people, we need this, yo. It's a crucial time that we are entering, and we need this. We need that knowledge of self, man. We need people to break down that black history. We need to deal with psychology on that black level. Like that's what we need to do. We need to get back to our roots, and then when we get back to the roots, then we need to evolve based off of those roots. So we don't just need to, Cashmere, I got you, yo. If you on Instagram, hit me up on Instagram under my name, Eric Bell, yo, I got you. But we need to get back to those roots and we need to revise the roots. So I'm not saying we need to live exactly like our ancestors lived, but we need to get back in tune with how they live, and then we need to evolve based off of those roots. Because right now, for the most part, we living in a way that's unnatural to us for the most part. D. Monty Magic, when you talk about the hive mind, are you talking about like groupthink? Terenzo, we need our own system for everything. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing by creating this gym. This is going to be something that becomes a thing. This is going to be a gym chain. Yeah, you can type in Almighty Vegan on Instagram, or you can type in my name. A lot of my clients have found me just by typing in my name as well. So either way, you can type in Almighty Vegan on my name and you're going to see me pop up if you're not already following me. King Luke, man, peace. Gay University, yep, the lack of dialogue is crucial. Lack of dialogue is crucial. That's all we got to do. All we got to do, as we say, in 5%, all we got to do is build, man. Build and destroy. That's all we got to value. And then equality. Like, we got the math to break it down. Equality. That's part of how you get to that understanding. Equality in our culture is 6. What two numbers? It's going to take a lot for us to get our own everything. But hey, who cares? Like, who cares how hard it's gonna be? Who cares how hard it's gonna be? We gonna make it happen. But like I said, in our culture, the 6 is equality. 3 and 3, that gives you 6. The 3 is the understanding. And notice, it's 2 of those 3. So that means each party, you got to strive to gain that understanding, and that gives birth to that equality, that balance, being centered, being at peace. But y'all, man, my client just pulled up, man, so I got to hop on off this joint, kill my client. Y'all be easy. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Y'all peace.